Wednesday, April 29th. I'm out here on the farm and I'm just amazed, totally amazed with these flowers just popping off as I drove in. So beautiful. Too bad there's really nobody around to see it except for the birds, and I know the birds are loving it. A couple things I've been noticing out here. I was walking through the broccolis and I've noticed these little guys are already starting to flower. I was afraid this might happen. This means they're gonna be done. That's gonna be our broccoli. If you look at them. Now that could be attributed to a number of things. It's kind of hard to tell. Could have been that they dried out at some point after they got transplanted, because once they dry out, they freak out and they bolt just the same way as the lettuce. I think something we need to figure out here is a consistent watering schedule to help prevent things like that from happening next time around. So what I would do is we're gonna wanna come through. I'd be interested in leaving some of the ones that aren't bolting. For example, this one looks pretty healthy, nice big leaves. The one right next to it's already getting its flowers. What I would just do is come through, and maybe I'll do this today, cut them, bunch them, and we sell them like that or distribute them like that. It's just the same as eating greens, really good food. Cabbage is looking really nice. These Savoys starting to get fat leaves. There is discoloration, so I'm not sure what's going on with the soil. Again, I think water, we don't know when the watering's happening or how often, for how long. It's kind of hard to figure out everything else from there. The broccolis down here on the second edge, I haven't noticed any of them, except for that one, bolting. So let's leave these guys and check them out. One thing I want to just highlight when we're transplanting, you notice this long stem right here, and see how it's rooting? It gets bent, and this one bent over the wrong way. When we're transplanting, we actually want to plant these guys that deep, and that way this stem will turn into roots. You can see the root coming out of there, and this plant will be way stronger for it. So that's just something to notice next time we're coming out here and transplanting, especially any of these brassicas, broccolis, kales, collards. They like getting those stems planted right up to the soil surface so that their roots can go deep. I was coming through the lettuce. I noticed we did a huge harvest yesterday. I'm glad we were able to get a lot of it. And yes, it is bolting. However, there's still some good ones. So something just to watch. Obvious boltage, right? This is getting this stem, which is starting to get tall and fat. And that one needs to get pulled out. But these ones, these are called Gully's Favorite. Beautiful lettuces. This is actually perfect. So I'm gonna pick these. We're gonna distribute these through our Oakland Leaf channels. I'm gonna take whatever looks good. But again, we did miss the window on a lot of this romaine. That one looks good. So it's kind of like patchwork. Come through anything that looks good. The next thing to do, these are some early basils we put in. If you have, anytime you see a basil flowering, just pick off those flowers. It'll put more energy into releafing and vegging out again, and we'll keep that basil growing. So when we get it looking like this, where you harvested the entire bed or the entire section, now this soil is gonna be ready. We're gonna just redo it. So I kind of don't wanna let the soil sit too long, even though it's not a bad idea to let it rest. We'll give it a little fertilizer to boost those microorganisms. And I have a ton of lettuce at home. I'll bring those in and start transplanting those next week. And you can see how we do it. 3 across, 1, 2, and the second one's in the middle, third on the edge. And we space them about that far. You see how big the heads get. So ideally, when they're mature like this, the leaves are just touching, barely overlapping, pretty good spacing, maximum yield. These romaines are looking good. I'm gonna leave these. I think they can grow a little longer. So we can section by section clear and replant. Also just transplanted a bunch of basil, so we can get those going in a couple weeks. Really good germination of these pinto beans, the lima beans, just starting to come. It's looking a little patchy, so I'm a little nervous, but I see that they're just starting to come. Some of these seeds will come up to the surface. I just poke them back in. And something's been eating our beans, so it will not grow. It's like a weevil or a type of rodent. So that's unfortunate. Now we just gotta let hope these guys survive the snails, which you see are going to town. If they can get past this crucial stage, they should be good. I'm gonna start building right here the cucumber trellis so you can see a model of what we're gonna try to do down this row once this garlic's ready. And I've also found some good videos on garlic. I'll share those with y'all. And the black-eyed peas have been ordered. So what I suggest y'all focus on now is seeding. Seed around these poles. So you got your poles, you got your bed prepped, you got your irrigation lane, you're ready. We may even wanna wrap this line like this, weave it in and out, and that way we're making sure it's getting a good soakage and the line won't come off the bed. But what you wanna do for planting the beans is you're gonna make a ring around, and I would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes. Space them about that far apart. You see how our beans grow. These beans that you're growing over here, they're gonna be climbers. So the spacing doesn't matter so much because they'll find space as they climb up. So if that could be the work you guys work on tomorrow or Monday, let's get that seeded. Let's move on that so your beans are starting to grow. And we'll work on clearing and prepping this lettuce bed. And basically, once it's cleared, now all I gotta do is come through with a little hand pick and pick it when we transplant. So this is ideal. That's how we want the rest of it. Just getting rid of weeds and any other pressure from non-desirable plants here. And hopefully we'll get this broccoli going again, round 2. All right, sweet peas.